Every day, I meet people who believe they're doing everything right for their health. They walk regularly, 30 minutes a day, sometimes even longer, yet they still struggle with knee pain, fatigue, stiffness, leg discomfort, and the feeling that their body is not responding the way they expected. The first question I usually ask is simple: how are you walking? And that's where the conversation often becomes interesting. In many cases, the issue isn't a lack of walking, it's the way the walking is being done. Walking is one of the most effective forms of physical activity available, especially after the age of 50. However, poor walking habits can place unnecessary stress on joints, affect posture, increase fatigue, and reduce many of the benefits people expect to gain from regular movement. After the age of 50, the body naturally begins to undergo several important changes. One of the most significant is the gradual loss of muscle mass, a process known as sarcopenia. Muscle tissue plays a critical role in supporting joints, maintaining balance, regulating blood sugar, and preserving mobility. As muscle mass declines over time, everyday movements can become more difficult and stability may decrease. At the same time, joints become less flexible. Cartilage, the smooth tissue that cushions the ends of bones, depends on regular movement to receive nutrients through joint fluid. Without consistent activity, joints may become stiffer and less comfortable over time. Metabolism also changes with age. The body generally burns fewer calories at rest than it did in earlier decades, making weight management more challenging even when eating habits remain unchanged. Circulation can also become less efficient, as blood vessels gradually lose some of their elasticity. Many adults notice symptoms such as cold feet, leg fatigue, or occasional nighttime cramps as these changes occur. The good news is that walking can positively influence all of these systems at once. Regular walking helps maintain muscle function, supports joint mobility, encourages healthy circulation, and contributes to overall metabolic health. Research consistently shows that physically active adults tend to have lower rates of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and mobility-related decline. However, one common mistake can reduce many of these benefits: starting a walk too quickly. Many people step outside and immediately begin walking at full speed. While that may seem efficient, the body functions best when it is allowed a gradual transition from rest to activity. Muscles perform better when they have time to warm up. Joints move more comfortably once natural lubrication has increased, and the cardiovascular system adapts more smoothly when activity intensity rises gradually rather than suddenly. A simple solution is to spend the first few minutes of every walk at a comfortable pace. Think of it as preparing your muscles, joints, and circulation for the activity ahead. Those first few minutes may seem insignificant, but they can make a meaningful difference in comfort, performance, and long-term joint health. Walking remains one of the most powerful tools for healthy aging, but like any tool, it works best when used correctly. Understanding these small details can help you get more benefit from every step you take. Third, your cardiovascular system needs time to adapt. The heart does not respond well to sudden demands. When you begin walking at full speed immediately, your heart rate rises too quickly and your blood pressure spikes more sharply than necessary. After the age of 50, when blood vessels naturally become less elastic, these sudden surges place unnecessary stress on the cardiovascular system. The good news is that the solution requires no extra time. Simply spend the first 3 to 5 minutes of every walk moving at a slow, comfortable pace. Think of it as preparing your body for the work ahead. This gradual warm-up allows your joints to lubricate, your muscles to warm up, and your heart to settle into a steady rhythm. Once that happens, you can safely increase your pace and enjoy the full benefits of walking. Now let's discuss mistake number 2, poor walking posture. Take a moment to observe people walking in a park or along a sidewalk. Most are hunched forward with their heads protruding in front of their bodies, shoulders rounded inward and eyes fixed on the ground. This may seem harmless, but it creates serious problems for both the spine and the respiratory system. Consider the mechanics. The average adult head weighs approximately 11 pounds. When the head is properly aligned over the spine, the neck muscles support only that weight. However, when the head moves forward by just 1 to 1.5 inches, the stress on the cervical spine nearly triples. At a 2-inch forward shift, the load can increase 4 to 5 times. Instead of supporting 11 pounds, the muscles of the neck and upper back may be forced to support 45 to 55 pounds continuously. Walk in this position for 20 or 30 minutes and you create chronic tension throughout the neck, shoulders and the base of the skull. Many people return home from a walk with stiffness and discomfort and assume it is simply part of aging. In reality, it is often a posture problem. Poor posture also affects your breathing. When the shoulders roll forward and the chest collapses, the diaphragm, the primary muscle responsible for breathing, cannot move freely. The lungs fail to expand fully, forcing you into shallow chest breathing. Less oxygen reaches your muscles and brain, leaving you tired, sluggish and exhausted long before you should be. There is another consequence that receives far less attention. Posture affects the entire biomechanical chain of the body. A forward head position forces the lower back to overarch, tilts the pelvis out of alignment, and changes the way the knees and hips absorb force. Over time, this increases stress on major joints and contributes to pain and degeneration. The correction is surprisingly simple. Imagine a string gently pulling the top of your head toward the sky. Allow your spine to lengthen naturally. Keep your shoulders relaxed and slightly back, not rigid or forced. Look straight ahead toward the horizon rather than down at the pavement. Keep your chin parallel to the ground and your chest comfortably open. In this position, your lungs can expand fully, your neck remains unloaded, and your body moves the way it was designed to move. Mistake number 3. Wearing the wrong shoes. Footwear is one of the most overlooked factors in walking health, yet it may be the most important. Every step you take begins at the foot, and whatever happens there travels upward through the ankles, knees, hips, and spine. As we age, 2 significant changes occur. First, the natural fat pads on the soles of the feet become thinner. These pads serve as built-in shock absorbers, cushioning the impact of every step. When they diminish, your shoes must provide that protection. Without proper cushioning, impact forces travel directly into the joints of the lower body. Second, the muscles and ligaments supporting the foot gradually weaken. The arch may begin to collapse, a condition commonly known as acquired flat foot. When this happens, the alignment of the entire lower body changes. The knees rotate differently, the hips absorb force inefficiently, and the spine experiences greater stress. Proper footwear can help slow or prevent these changes. So what should you look for in a walking shoe? First, adequate cushioning in both the heel and forefoot. The sole should absorb impact without feeling unstable. Second, proper arch support. This does not mean a hard or uncomfortable insole. It means the shoe should follow the natural shape of your foot and help maintain healthy alignment. Third, flexibility in the front of the shoe. Your foot must be able to bend naturally at the ball of the foot during each step. A sole that is too rigid interferes with the normal heel-to-toe movement pattern and places excessive strain on the calf muscles and Achilles tendon. And one final point, pay attention to shoe wear. Many people are still walking in athletic shoes they purchased 2 or 3 years ago. Even if those shoes look fine on the outside, the cushioning materials inside gradually break down. Once that support is gone, your joints begin absorbing forces they were never meant to handle. Replacing worn-out walking shoes is not a luxury. It is an investment in the long-term health of your feet, knees, hips, and spine. The outside of a shoe may appear perfectly fine, but the materials hidden inside tell a different story. The midsole, the cushioning layer between the outer sole and the inner lining, gradually loses its ability to absorb shock long before visible signs of wear appear. If you walk regularly, replacing your walking shoes approximately once every year is a sensible investment in joint health. This is not a marketing strategy. It is a practical step toward reducing unnecessary stress on your knees, hips, and spine. Now let's discuss mistake number 4, walking infrequently but covering long distances. This is a surprisingly common pattern. People stay inactive throughout the week and then attempt to make up for it with a single long walk on the weekend. They spend an hour or even 2 hours walking, return home exhausted, and feel they have fulfilled their fitness obligations for the week. Unfortunately, the human body does not work that way. Your body responds to consistency, not occasional bursts of effort. Every time you walk, your body receives the signal that movement is a regular part of daily life. In response, your cardiovascular system becomes more efficient, your muscles grow stronger, your blood vessels adapt, and your metabolism remains active. This process is known as physiological adaptation, and it only occurs when the signal is repeated consistently. One walk per week simply does not provide enough stimulation for meaningful adaptation. In many cases, it creates the opposite effect. After several days of inactivity, a long walk places excessive stress on muscles and joints that are not prepared for the workload. The next day, soreness appears, and many people mistakenly conclude that walking is harming them. The problem is not walking, the problem is inconsistency. Research consistently shows that 20 to 30 minutes of walking on most days of the week provides significant benefits for cardiovascular health, blood sugar control, and long-term mobility. 5 shorter walks are far more effective than one long weekend session. If you currently walk only once a week, do not try to overhaul everything overnight. Start with 3 walks per week, even if they last only 10 minutes. After 2 weeks, gradually increase the duration. Sustainable progress always outperforms occasional extremes. Mistake number 5. Keeping your arms motionless while walking. Many people walk with their arms hanging passively at their sides, tucked into their pockets, or held stiffly against their bodies. It may feel comfortable, but it reduces the effectiveness of walking and disrupts the body's natural movement patterns. Walking is not simply a leg exercise, it is a coordinated full-body movement. When your left leg moves forward, your right arm naturally swings forward as well. This pattern, known as cross-coordination, is built into the nervous system. It helps distribute forces evenly throughout the body and reduces unnecessary twisting stress on the spine. When arm movement is restricted, the lower back must compensate for the loss of natural counterbalance. Over time, this can contribute to discomfort and fatigue, particularly in individuals with existing back issues. Arm movement also activates additional muscle groups, including the shoulders, upper back, chest, and core. The more muscle mass involved in an activity, the greater the overall metabolic and circulatory benefit. 2 people may walk the same distance, but the person using proper arm swing receives a more complete physiological workout. There is another advantage that becomes increasingly important with age: rhythm and coordination. After 50, balance and coordination gradually decline. A natural arm swing helps regulate stride length, maintain rhythm, and improve overall stability while walking.